Okay, and do I hear a motion to open the public meeting for the Holyoke Planning Board for Tuesday, November 29th?
So moved.
Second, anyone?
He's coming back.
I'll second that.
A roll call vote. Nathan,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
Berninger,
Yes.
Mimi.
Yes. And we have continued both items under zone change, site plan review, special permit. So there is nothing under 1 or 2 we have to discuss this evening. On to planning board business. And we have an executive session listed, but that's just pro forma. We don't need it tonight since there are no new developments for us to discuss. It is possible that we will be putting one on for December 13th, though. And that brings us to, I think, project updates and marijuana review letters. Jack, I think you're on.
Yep, I will take over. Sharon, are you able to share?
I
or-
can, but if you're there quicker, you go for it. Because
I think I can.
which one are you doing first?
Blossom Flower, since Damaris is here. You probably don't see anything.
What do you mean?
I can see it.
We saw
Oh,
it.
I saw it a minute ago.
Oh,
We can
sorry,
see it.
okay. Okay, you see it?
We see it.
Yes.
It's small, but we see it.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'll give a overview of this particular project. This is for Blossom Flower LLC, which is gonna be located at 1 Cabot Street. This is the building that houses a number of other marijuana companies. The current one that's open is Milltown. We've reviewed other projects for this location. She's going to be proposing to be primarily a delivery operator, which means she can wholesale marijuana products from other companies, store it at this facility, and then deliver it from this facility directly to consumers. She's also proposing to have a manufacturing element to this. The CCC, even if all of you're doing is taking marijuana product and putting it into a different package or rolling it into a joint per se, that's considered manufacturing. So she's going to be doing that as well. So she's also going for a marijuana, so delivery operator and manufacturing, but the manufacturing it's not the same scale as others that we've looked at where they're like baking and using all kinds of solvents and chemicals and stuff. It's nothing like that. So, and this was one of the very few, I will say, in my opinion, complete submittals. Everything that was required was provided. There, again, she's occupying a 2,000 square foot portion of this building. She will be sharing a Sally port, and that's all been approved by the police department. We have the police review letter. So, and then the only thing that's kind of standard for being outstanding is just given where she is in the process, we don't have all of like the final CCC sign off licenses. So that was really the only thing, not that it's missing, but that's just something that should be provided once those become available. I do know Damaris is here. I appreciate her coming on. It's not my role to see if she has anything she wants to say, but Mimi, if you want to see if, yeah. Oh, Mimi froze.
Oh, no.
Mhm.
Well, while we're waiting for Mimi to come back, I suppose I could stand in as the vice chair. I think that everything's here. We don't need to hear from Damaris, but if she would like to speak, she's welcome to do so.
Yeah, I just figured since she took the time to come
Yeah.
to the meeting, I'd want to offer her that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for letting me speak right now. Jack, on the licenses that you had asked for, I could give you a copy of my provisional delivery, and I'm in the process of getting the manufacturing. I should have that for January. So I
Okay.
have no problem giving you emailing you a copy of the provisional that I got for delivery, and I'll have the manufacturing in January. I was just going ahead and starting the manufacturing after, but the whole special permit comes with the delivery and the manufacturing be built in the same 2,000 square feet. So when I went for special permit, I just wanted to make sure I was ahead of the manufacturing and it was all set. So right now the CCC is with, we just have to wait because the CCC only has meetings once a month to give you the license. So you could be approved for 2 months, but you got to wait your turn in the queue because it goes by numbers. So yeah, so right now I'll show you some of that and anything else that you guys need.
Okay, and yeah, I'll just quickly add, so that's why I wrote 2 separate letters for this particular project. I wrote one letter, I mean, they're essentially identical letters, but the text at the beginning describes the different delivery operator versus manufacturing. But most people tend to apply, they just submit one special permit application for either 2 different classes or 3 different license types. But she actually separated them out, which is probably the preferable way to actually go about it. So that's why you see 2 review letters for the same project per se. One is specific to the manufacturing, the other to the delivery operator. So but you could potentially be approved for one and not the, like, that's kind of why it's good to separate them out.
Damaris, I want to commend you for, this is the first time I've heard Jack say that somebody's submitting something with nothing missing. So
I thank
good
you.
work.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good because I don't work with a lawyer. You'll see me by myself at all times. So I work by myself and I've done a lot of this by myself. I do have a lawyer for some stuff, but a lot of this that I do it by myself. I've worked very, very, very hard for these licenses that I'm about to get, and very, very hard for this business that I hopefully plan to open for spring, summer of 2023. So yeah, thank you. Makes me feel.
Think your attention to the paperwork hopefully bodes very well for your business.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think so say we all.
Thank you.
So again, I'm not 100%. Sharon, we've typically been doing motions to approve these, and then is Mimi still coming in to sign them, or are we just
No.
sending them off now?
I think we just send them off
Okay.
because your name is on it, right? Oh,
Well,
no,
it's
Mimi's is
the
on
old
it.
one, but I could just change it to myself. It could be coming. So it's now they're coming from the planning department versus the board again. So yeah, no one needs to come in and sign.
That's up to the board.
Well, true.
Well, I certainly don't mind coming in and signing them. But
Is it the case where it might be useful to have both the staff person signature and the board chair signature?
That can't hurt.
well, let's do it that way.
Okay.
Why make a decision if we don't have to?
Perfect.
Let's make everybody do more work. So I'll move that we approve both letters for Blossom Flower LLC, the letter for manufacturing, and the other letter, is the other letter delivery?
Delivery operator.
Okay, delivery operator letter and the manufacturing letter. Move that we approve them both.
Second.
Karen, when you're
Yeah.
ready?
Yep, by roll call vote, Nathan,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
Bernander,
Yes.
and Mimi.
Yes.
Thank you. And then just super quick, so Damaris, next step, these letters will be forwarded to the ordinance committee, and then it's in their hands from there.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to the last one we have, this is Small Wonder, can still see my screen, right, with the next one or no?
No, but I just put
We
mine
do
up.
that.
Oh, okay, that works. So this is for Small Wonders Cultivation located at 109 Lyman Street. We previously saw, like, she previously submitted back in September, and if you remember, I'm not sure if you remember, but this is one that was very, very incomplete. To the point where she decided to not pull her application, but she was in communication with Jeffrey next door to kind of, she resubmitted revised material, so that's what this review is looking at. Trying to think, so this is for approximately 24,000 square feet, and it's just for cultivation. They're going for a tier 1, which is the lowest tier, I think 0 to 5,000 square feet of canopy. They're proposing it max build out 4 employees, probably 2 at a time. One interesting thing about this one, it is called out in the plan, but there's still going to be a separate tenant in the basement. It's essentially, it's a plumbing company, I think Roto-Rooter, if I'm not mistaken. But the plans that were provided in this plan set did clearly show how that tenant will be separated from the cannabis tenant, which previously wasn't shown. Sharon, if you scroll down a little bit. I think until you get to where there's the red.
Yeah,
So the one main thing that wasn't provided was a details sheet. There seemed to be some miscommunication about misunderstanding of what a details sheet is, because she provided something titled a details sheet, but it was just all text and describing things. Whereas it's supposed to be a visualization of the different features. So just requesting, because they do talk about there's going to be dumpster enclosures, fencing put up, and additional lighting fixtures and bollards as well. None of those details were provided, so that's kind of the one outstanding element. Given all that's been going on, I just wanted to make it clear that because there's going to be CO2 on site, so just calling out that fire department approval is a must for sure. And then there is also some indication of doing some potential repaving and whatnot. So I just wanted to make sure that it's called out that the city engineer should be reviewing these plans as well. They should be providing a review letter, but that doesn't usually happen. And then there is zero indication of how odor is going to be mitigated on the site. And if you remember, this is the location that kind of triggered the huge issue a year and a half ago with Open Square and Mr. Aubin and all of that. So an odor mitigation plan for this site would probably be helpful.
yeah.
And then there's no development schedule provided. The application states that once all of the permits are approved, that they'll have a development schedule. But I just think it's important to have one ahead of time, especially we've been recently talking about how special permits do expire after 2 years, if not substantially acted upon. And this building is on the market. So it's kind of our inference that this entity is trying to get this permitted just for the sole purpose of then being able to sell it. So there's nothing we can really do to prevent that, but it's important, like in these situations, just to call out that special permits aren't transferable. They're for the person the applicant that applied for them. And again, they have to be acted upon within 2 years or they expire. So I just wanted to make sure to call that out in this letter, given the potential situation. And that was mainly it. This was a much more complete submittal than the first time around. I don't know if you remember the last time, none of the plans were even stamped or sealed by anybody, but this submittal, they clearly did address a lot of the outstanding issues. So I do believe I would say it should be complete enough to forward to ordinance, but it's just important to call out, what's
Yeah.
called out.
Yeah. But your feeling is, as you just said, it is complete enough so that ordinance can take over from here and you don't feel a need to demand that they give you more before transmitting it.
No, and it's already on the ordinance committee
okay.
agenda for the 13th, so.
So, all right, yes, and you have warned them. It seems like a good, solid set of warnings to me.
Mhm.
Anybody else have anything they feel ought to be addressed here?
No, I think it's self-explanatory. They're always missing contents. Poor Jack.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody want to move to approve this one?
I'll move to approve the letter.
Second.
By roll call vote, Nathan,
Yes.
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am. I had to think about it.
Kate,
Yes.
Brinder,
Yes.
and Mimi.
Yes.
Okay.
Done our best to warn them. Or rather, Jack's done his best, and I am grateful.
Hmm.
Okay, on to.
I think Jeff has more project updates perhaps.
Yeah, if I could, just
Oh,
a
please.
couple.
Go for it.
So for one, Holyoke Landing is going to be coming back shortly. I think perhaps for that January 10th, or let's put that in as tentative, say, because they are gearing up to file for an extension or a modification to their notice of decision. Because at this point, they know that they cannot complete or are not going to complete the third building. So, they actually approached me this morning saying, that how do we start the process? Because we, the notice of conditions arguably will run out at the end of this year. So they are seeking to be on the agenda for the 10th to ask for that extension. As we've done it with other projects before, which were Library Commons, Tokeniki Village, and I always forget the third one, and it's not the Pride Station because that was a total redo. But there were 3 projects that basically ran out of time, and so they're just looking to do it the right way. And we kind of gone back and forth today, just clarifying what's required. And so just know that they're gearing up to come in, presumably January 10th, if that meets, with the board's approval.
Yeah, no, good for them. I'm glad that they noticed it and reached out.
Yep. And then another thing, we've talked about, we've already talked about Bay State. We've talked about the balloon fly. I know that Nathan has a topic he wants to discuss momentarily, but just as the board being the appointing authority for planning staff, I just, this is one of our last good meetings to let you know that, at least in my case, one of the things I'm supposed to review with you and let you know is that I'm seeking, with your approval, I'm seeking to carry a week's vacation to next year. And by contract, I'm looking to buy back, what ends up being 4 weeks of vacation. I've since heard that the mayor, or I know the mayor has cut the budget for the vacation buyback. So arguably I could have stopped being here as of November 16th. But at any rate, just to let you know, I'm attempting to buy back the time for the contract, just because I wasn't obviously able to use it this year. And I'm seeking to carry a week if that's okay with the board,
Well, it certainly is okay with one member of the board. Do you want to vote right now, or?
You actually take time off, Jeff? I'm very impressed.
Well, I used 8 days this year. So, and then, I plan on taking the 23rd through the week between Christmas and New Year off as well. But that still leaves me with the 20 or 4 weeks, 20 days of vacation that I'm not using. So I'm
Well-
hoping that eventually the powers that be will help promote or, promote the council funding the 4 weeks, because otherwise I'm losing it. So,
Well, my only real question is how you would like us to document this, but
Mhm.
if if I hear no objections from the rest of the board, I'm prepared to approve it tonight.
Yeah, I
That's
think
fine.
we should approve allowing,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
moving a month, moving a week. Yeah, it's very reasonable.
Sure. I mean, but so I missed the dates. When are you taking off, Jeff?
I'm taking the 23rd through the week between, it's the 23rd. And obviously we've got the 26th off because of the Sunday holiday, and then the 27, 28, 29, and 30. So with that, I'm actually using 2 vacation days and 3 personal days that I still have left. Because within my union contract, we have 4 personal days, and I did use a personal day several weeks ago with a pipe break. So anyways, so I'm taking those days off between Christmas and New Year, and then the 23rd.
Great. Yeah, great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good for you.
But like I said, it still leaves me with 5 weeks, the 1 week I'm carrying, and the 4 I hope to buy back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, do I hear a motion to approve all of this as a package?
Yes, I move that.
Second,
Roll call vote,
third,
Yes.
Nathan,
yes.
Kate,
Yes,
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
Gertender,
Yes.
and Mimi.
Yes. And we'll just figure out how we should document our approval of this and get whatever needs to be signed.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm gonna quickly jump in. Probably should have done this as a package too. I'm also carrying 4 days, but I'm not buying anything back. So I think the only approval I would need from you is to carry 4 days over to next year.
Okay, sounds
That's-
good to me.
I move that we approve Jack carrying 4 days to next year.
So moved. I mean, second,
roll call vote, Nathan,
yes.
Kate,
Yes,
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
Gertender,
Yes.
and Mimi.
Yes. And ditto, just figure out the documentation and we will get it executed.
Okay, thank you. And then, well, typically what that involves is, I've historically written the letter to Aaron as or formerly Marcos or whomever as the department head to just kind of help the process, or at least that puts it on the record, because then presumably he forwards a copy to the personnel office, presumably, because there's no mechanism there other than assuming that that our department head is doing that. So, but so with that, in my letter to him, I'll state that.
Yeah, I
that the
think it would be a
board-
good idea.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think it would be a good idea to include somewhere that we voted on it and
Yes,
we are
Yes.
the appointing authority and
right.
therefore.
So I'll include that in my letter, because I do have a draft ready, because in hopes of, normally we have to December 31st, but in light of the fact of the mayor cutting the vacation buyback line item, there's a concern about trying to get it started sooner than later, because if the council doesn't appropriate after the fact, then, so we're hoping to get it started now before December 31st.
Right,
And then just as another update, while we're on personnel issues, from what I understand, the planner one, we're receiving applications again. I think we've got 6 or 7 at this point, but I don't really know where or how the process is going to start, but obviously I'll be keeping you informed as the appointing authority.
right. And we will have to talk about how as a board we want to handle interviews.
Correct.
Because I'm going to have to, or some combination of us will have to write to the director of OPED to say, we are the appointing authority and, as you will remember, we do want to be involved and let's work this out.
Right. I mean, just speaking historically, for me, I was in front of, it was myself and several others. We went before the board, but that was already 20+ years ago. More, recently could be 8 years ago. Staff interviewed with one of the board members present, or actually the board chair present, And then we brought 2 members back to the board for final review and approval or voting.
Yeah.
And then, you know, in the COVID times, it was a board chair with staff, you know, so there's been several incarnations of how it's happened. But if eventually we could, or the board could define how they want to see it happen, that would be great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, because I know both of the last two interview processes I was involved in, and
Right.
you know, I know of no hires for the planning side where the planning board was not involved.
So that's all I've got as far as, you know, other business or project updates.
So it's a nice lull in our workload.
I don't know if Nathan at this point, I know that he emailed later this afternoon, if he wants to discuss or bring up his topic.
Sure, but I also understand Kate has a couple topics like the report, the
Yeah.
Whiting's, yeah.
Well, we'll do that under other business.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
So should I go into the topic or?
Please do.
Okay, yes, this is about an item on the Development and Government Relationships Committee of the City Council, and I'll just call it DGR. On November 14th, they had a meeting, a public hearing, where an applicant for 2 Orchard Street asked for a second driveway to be added. And I just happened to watch the video. I skimmed it, didn't watch in detail, but it was a little difficult to watch. But to keep it short, basically, there was a lot of arguments and complaints about why there was no planning office staff input on this item. And a lot of the complaints came from one particular counselor, but also the applicant kind of complained about it as well. And even there was a little bit yelling between the counselors. Anyway, so this brought up this question. It's like specifically, what is the status of this project, this particular project, the second driveway? And what is the planning office and the planning board responsibility for this matter? What's the process? And also in general, like, what is the process for these kind of applications for a second driveway or driveways in general? Because there is a lot of confusion. I mean, that recording, you can watch it and anybody can watch it. It's the November 14th one. There was just so much confusion just hearing that. And this was happening in front of an applicant, a member of the public, and which was not, frankly, I'll use a strong word. It didn't feel very professional. But anyways, putting that aside, I just want to raise that, ask questions to the planning staff and the planning board, just try to figure out what we need to do or what's going on with this.
Okay, well, I see Jeff's hand raised, so I'm going to let him talk before I start. But before so Jeff,
Okay, thank you. So for what it's worth, Nathan, we have no purview over it whatsoever. There is no project or plans. I believe that the legal staff gave a bad interpretation of 40A and maybe misspoke in the idea that planning staff or board have any review of driveways. And really, the only issue that is there is for perhaps the city engineer as the keeper of streets, in that it could go to him and he could determine whether or not I honestly don't even know why it's before the city council or DGNR at all, because normally that would be a Board of Public Works topic when it comes to siting of driveways. So I don't even know how it made it there. I don't know why. I don't know any of that. But I know that legal counsel or Bissonnette or Attorney Bissonnette did tell Councilor Bartley that that in fact planning board or staff was to comment, and there's no review. It's not even in our ordinances. We have no purview over that at all.
yeah. So Jeff has just said roughly what I was going to say, only I did not talk to Attorney Bissonnette about this at all. You know, I didn't know it was happening. But my snap reaction is that it would be nice to have some way of better educating members of the city council about what is within planning's jurisdiction and what staff can and can't do, because this is a pure fantasy on their part. And, there is no reason it should have come to us if they would like us to be reviewing applications for separate driveways or attempting to enforce illegal second driveways. They need to do something about that by way of ordinance, and we have to figure out then how we would approach it. But as it is completely, utterly not our department. And it is the best construction I can put on what you're describing is that there was just a mistake made.
I
And
think
the
what's
mistake led to
really,
shouting, which does happen at DGR.
I think what's really difficult is actually there was a second driveway or maybe a special driveway application for the city of Northampton. I was looking at the video, so I know. And in this case, it's a purely a planning board matter. The applicant was the applicant uses a wheelchair, and so it was requested, and it was a purely planning board matter. I think one difficulty is, Holyoke has a very unusual arrangement with the city council being the special permitting authority for a lot of the normally planning board or ZBA matters. So that just causes a lot of confusion, and it does put a more onus on the city council to be aware of all the different laws and the zoning bylaw and how to deal with this. So I think there's just a lot of confusion about the processes, and I suspect maybe also not only were the city councilors confused, whoever put it there, I guess that's the city clerk, whoever put the agenda item on the agenda, maybe they're confused with the process as well. So I think if maybe the Councilor Tessa is the chair for that DGR committee. So unless she has asked for input already, maybe it makes sense for the planning staff or the planning board member or chair to communicate back to them to put this in writing to
So
clarify.
I'm meeting with her on Monday, but just know that people are working on this behind the scenes.
Thank you.
But
Jeff.
there's absolutely no provision. And even there is everyone's driveway arguably is in their front yard, but this is just, I don't know if they filed this under 6181 or if this was just a driveway and no one seemed to know what this was filed as. But even regardless, there's still no technical input from staff or the planning board.
Yeah, and you would think, before they began screaming about this at DGR, if there had been any real question about this, perhaps someone would have thought to check with staff or with members of the board to see what the actual situation was. And, this strikes me as, I'm glad people are working on this behind the scenes, but it really does strike me as more of an education problem than anything else.
Right.
And, we don't pay our city councilors enough to have staff. We don't have staff for them outside of poor overworked Jeffrey. And, they come into office not necessarily knowing this stuff. It would be nice if there were a better way to educate, city council and for that matter, citizens about what the department does and doesn't do.
Yes.
So I'm just looking at 6.1.8 about residential driveways. There's information in ordinance about residential driveways, but it's simply what the ordinance is. It's not special permits around driveways, except that there's a special permit for driveway in a front yard, which is a city council special permit. And then there's a bunch of permitting in 619 about common driveways, which is us, but that had nothing to do with this
Right.
situation
Yeah.
I'm on. As I
The only
understand it.
misnomer there is that the 6181 is actually a special permit for a parking in a front yard.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the things that was never corrected. That's on the to-do list in the future, that it really should, because this all started over a project on Northampton Street, and I won't go into significant detail to drag this out, but someone suddenly paved their whole front yard and parked in it, and that this was the ordinance that came out of it. but really it should say park, for, parking in the front
space.
yard, not driveway, because everybody has a driveway in their front yard.
Yeah. Yeah, but the issue is not really limited to questions of driveways. It's assumptions that, for instance, there's minor site plan review for what people do with their houses, which there just isn't.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Well, okay, I'm kind of going to deep end here, but I do so often speculate maybe the whole Massachusetts home rule situation where there is no uniform zoning code, maybe it's a source of issues, but especially in Holyoke, I think the whole maybe possibly arbitrary allocation of special permitting duties to the city council, planning board, it's very arbitrary and confusing, I think. And I mean, it also confuses the applicants in many cases, I think.
Yeah, there ought to be a
Yeah.
better way of explaining it.
Right.
And it's
I-
true, the city council does keep an extraordinary number of special permits in Holyoke that are planning board permits everywhere else. And back, gosh, it goes back quite a long ways now. But when Gordon Alexander was the Ward 7 councilor, he made a real push to try to get those special permits transferred to the planning board because they were wasting so much of the council's time. And he got shot down in flames. They wanted those special permits. And you will probably notice as your time on the board extends that every time we draft an ordinance that involves a special permit, as for instance, the ADU discussion will result in our sending a draft of an ordinance over to them. We ask for the special permitting authority to be the planning board. And every time it comes out of the process, the planning board has been replaced by the city council. They really want them. And I don't know why. It's a lot of work and they're not specialists at it. And it would be great if they would let go of some of them, be good for the public, not necessarily good for us because then we would have to do it, but much better system, I think. And who knows, maybe if we try again, we'll get some motion, but we have tried and we agree it's a problem.
Yes, I mean, it might take a while, but it seems like just raising this up and getting some counselors more sympathetic and understanding of the issues to, join in or provide some support will probably help. So anyways, so it was about a particular site, but I guess that just brought up a lot of these process questions and ordinance questions. So thank you for taking the time to answer it. And thank you for doing all the work behind the scenes, Jeff and Sharon and Jack.
Well, and we do not disagree with you, and I'm glad you brought it up. So anything else before we move on to, where are we on the agenda? Meeting schedule.
At December 13th, we still have the, we're gonna do executive session, site plan review, drive-through facility, ADUs, battery storage, and now the Bay State sign.
Yeah, and, I think probably there will be at least a short executive session on the 13th. And it seems likely that there will be a continuance of the big item there. And we don't have to start thinking about dates for it yet. And there's no meeting on the 27th. And we're still holding January 10th for food trucks, but otherwise it sounds like all we've got right now is the Northampton Street Housing Project.
And Holyoke Landing.
Okay. Wasn't Holyoke Landing coming in on the 13th?
Yes. Well, no, wait, did I mess that one up earlier, Sharon? I thought he was gonna try to submit for the 13th.
No, because it's gotta go in the paper.
Right, but you told it, you gave me a deadline to tell him of December 20th. So
Yeah,
so that'd be the 13th. So I'm the one that messed that up. My apologies.
okay.
Karen's right.
Okay, so we have Holyoke Landing,
Yes, I'm
food
sorry.
trucks, and the project formerly known as Riverdance.
Are they gonna develop a glyph of that?
What's that? Sharon being right?
Sorry, no.
Oh,
When you say the project formerly known as, I
oh,
think that we're showing my roots in the 1980s, sorry.
Oh, gosh.
Never mind.
Okay.
Let's move on to other business.
Well, you skipped minutes, but there are none. But
That's
I,
why
do-
I skipped minutes.
I know, but I still need Gernander to come in and sign the last round of minutes.
I apologize, Karen. Sorry, I totally forgot about it.
That's okay.
I,
It's the
I wish
holiday.
you shoot me email to remind me. Another business, I want to talk about a little bit for a CPA.
Okay,
They hold a meeting every Thursday. And it's been like the way the help going in the restaurant. It's very hard for me to I go to the meeting, but they call me and they get busy, right?
mhm.
So I was thinking if somebody else wanna be take over, because it's not good, not sitting there and listening all the thing they does. And if somebody else can, volunteer, that'd be good.
Yeah, it's tough during the grant application process.
Yeah. And then it's like Thursday, sometimes we get busy and, and
Yeah.
they start meeting at 6:00, 6:30. That's a busy time for me. And it was okay in the beginning, but on last 2-3 meeting, it was very hard for me.
Okay, well, clearly, we don't want this to be a burden to you. So if anyone else on the board has both the interest and the time, the
Thursdays is basketball for me too, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So right now, Thursdays, I can't really help out.
okay, would you be
Yeah.
interested, or would Nathan perhaps be interested if we could make it not on Thursday?
Yeah, I can do a Wednesday.
Because I can certainly reach out to Meg McGrath, who is the chair, and say, we don't have a member who is able to commit Thursdays to this, but
I don't
Yeah.
think they're gonna be willing to do Wednesday because City Council Rivera cannot do Wednesday, and there's a couple other people they couldn't do Wednesday. They used to do Wednesday. They moved to Thursday, and Wednesday I was okay, but they moved it to Thursday.
well,
Well,
we'll
I
have
mean, I'm sorry,
to
Madam Chair, please go ahead.
discuss it with them. Please, no, if you are willing to do it and you can do Thursdays, you're on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Thursday happened to be open for me. Well, but one thing I want to ask is, did Gerninger say it's every week?
No, every other week.
Every other week? Okay. I mean, it's okay. And is it always every other week, or is it twice a month, basically?
Yeah, twice a month.
Okay. And even if the busy season ends, is it
No,
still?
then they usually, they skip. Usually, they go once a month. Depend how many applications what's going on there. And sometimes it's like quick meeting. Last one was like only for half hour. So
Okay.
sometimes it's quick. It's
Oh,
not
so-
more than usually it's not a longer meeting, but the timing is like not fitting for me. But 6:00 to 7:30. Usually it's an hour and a half.
Okay. I mean, all right. Yeah, I mean, okay. So yeah, Thursdays are available for me. So as long as they don't go for 3 hours, and it's at 6 or 6:30.
6:30.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes it's 6. They vary the time. Sometimes I think usually 6. And I can take you in for first meeting, like when we send them a letter, introduce you and then walk away from there. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, so Thursday open for me. It's just, frankly, I don't think I want it to be like a multi-year commitment, but at least for now, since Gardner's so busy and Thursday happened to be open for me, I can pick it up.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah,
that's
because like
wonderful.
if I keep skipping meeting or missing the stuff, I
Right.
don't get to learn much, and nothing I can come back and tell you guys what's going on there, so it's
Right.
not good.
Yeah, no, I think one of the things about this is that our delegate to CPA is completely within our authority. So Nathan, if you're willing to take it on, if it doesn't work out for you, we can go back to the drawing board. We don't have to stick you there for a year if it just doesn't work. But
Right.
if you're willing to try it out, that's great. That solves the immediate problem. And if you get through the busy season, at least back when I was doing it, the requirements really eased up a lot once the grant decisions were made for the year.
Oh, sorry. Could you repeat the last sentence, Madam Chair?
Yeah, once the grant applications are decided on for the year, back when I did this, and now, I've been off it for, I think, 2 years now, but the demands on your time really went down.
Okay.
It was, relatively intense during the fall and early winter because that was when applications were coming in and they needed to be reviewed. But once that's done, it goes to the city council and then there's really nothing to do until the next round of grant applications in the early fall. And then it doesn't really ramp up until late fall, winter. So you would be joining at the busy season and getting a break after that.
Oh, that's good to hear. Okay, so let's try it out. I like to try it out, and I mean, somehow the timing works out. Gardner's Thursday is tough. My Thursday happened to be open, so that's good. So yeah, I will try it out. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do need a motion on that.
Yes. Do I hear a motion to appoint Nathan to be our delegate to the Community Preservation Act Committee?
I will make that motion.
I'll second right away.
By roll call vote, Nathan, do you accept?
Yes. Yes. Oh, and I'll accept.
Don't be
One
confused,
caveat.
Nathan.
Is the first meeting this Thursday? Is the next meeting this Thursday?
Nathan, I'll call you. Okay. Hold on. Let me check my email.
Okay.
And he seconded it, so let's get that vote on the table before he changes his mind.
Yeah.
Kate,
Okay.
Yes,
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
Bernander,
Yes.
and then Mimi.
Yes.
All right.
even if you can't make the first meeting.
Yeah, I just realized I
Okay.
once a year. I actually have once a year Thursday meeting this Thursday. So it's a very funky situation. But besides that, my Thursday is normally open. So I'll say yes. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah, no, that's fine. Everybody misses a meeting now and then.
right.
And I will, since we have now voted, just shoot Mega off a note saying to expect the changeover.
Yeah, actually, I looked in the file, and I guess the letter goes to the city council president.
Okay, we can do that. But I will still let Meg know.
Nathan, you have time, so we just finished that meeting, I think was last Thursday, so you're okay for right now.
Oh, thank you. That's good to hear.
They met on Thanksgiving.
That's you.
Thank you. Sorry. I know my mic.
And you may be
Who was
able to
that?
find out where the application for the church stands.
Mm,
I'd like to know that.
I thought they approved that. No.
The CPA,
Mhm.
I thought that it was lost somewhere in the process.
Oh, okay. Even better. I like that.
But, I would like to know more than just the gossip going around.
Which church? Pleasant
The-
Street?
The church at Hampton and Pleasant, where they were talking about the motorcycle dealership.
I
wonder-
I tell you one thing, I wish they didn't, now I'm sorry, I wish they didn't pass and put some condition on it. I think is a sales pending right now for 429,000. He
That's
bought
the
it for
rumor.
50,000. It's not a rumor, actually. It says like, sale is pending. I had somebody came to me yesterday and say, don't say his name. And he told me about it. And I was
Yep.
disappointed, very disappointed yesterday.
Yeah, no, the sale is
I
definitely.
wish
No, go ahead.
I wish there was like take that recommendation did by you guys, should have some condition when you zone changing business highway. But they have to learn their lesson. And I'm sorry, I thought it'd be a good idea for like, to be motorcycle, something good business there. But I think he already had a plan, he already had a plan before.
I told
He-
y'all.
Right.
Well,
Hey,
for what it's
see,
worth,
I have no shame to say I'm sorry, yes, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
No,
If
it's
I'm
not
right,
about
I'm
that,
right,
Gunender. We're trying to help, create businesses in Holyoke. And then you get
Yeah.
something like this happen, and it's very discouraging, right? Because now it makes you
It is,
think
it
every
is
time
like,
somebody wants to present something, now you're second guessing. And so this is why it's like a double-edged sword. So like, it's not even
like,
about you, it's just the whole process, how, I don't know.
as
I
being,
think-
Just
as being,
remember, you're never zone changing for a project. You're always zone changing for the highest and best use of the parcel.
I think what would be helpful, and I'll start to work on it with anybody's help who wants to give me input, but I think it would be really useful to have a list, basically to just have a document to say, here are all the times that we've zone changed in the last 5 years for a specific project and what ended up happening. And because you can show occasionally the thing that was promised happened, but my guess is more often than not, it didn't. And something more
So-
problematic happened. So I think if we have a document that reminds everybody what the historical precedent is, that could be very useful. So
yeah,
I'll
but
start.
just keep
Gurvinder,
one thing,
do not feel too
just-
bad about this.
just
you
keep
know,
one thing more in your guys' mind. There's a lot for sale right now across the
Yeah.
street from me. Westfield and
Yeah.
Homestead Avenue.
Mhm.
There's a vacant lot, but it's a residence zone on that lot. And they're gonna be coming soon as it gets sold. It's gonna be coming for, zone change. We have to keep that in mind too, that one.
Hmm.
When they come up,
Yep.
because it's just went up for sale and it's a corner lot, like acre or something. When the Walgreens wanna buy that, like, thing 4 or 5 years ago. And then, so now Walgreens CVS, then CVS moved on Whiting Farm Road. So we have to keep that in mind too. As soon as that gets sold, it's gonna come to us for the zone changing. Because nobody wanna put the house in that corner.
Yeah. Well, and also, as we just saw, real estate jumps in price when you zone change it to highway business or something similar.
Yep.
But we wrote that recommendation. We begged them not to do this, but realistically, I think we all knew the city council was going to do what it was going to do.
Yeah, thank you for that information, Gurninder. And I think like Kate's idea is great. And I think these things have to be made public, especially at least for the benefit of the public and at least the incoming councilors who are not influenced by these kind of culture. So I think just
Nathan,
yeah.
you gotta remember that the public was speaking in favor of them,
Oh, right, yeah.
Remember that?
course,
Every
course.
neighborhood from there, they were speaking on behalf of them.
Right.
And everybody was like saying, oh, planning boards like saying no, blah, 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 But now,
Yes.
those people are saying, oh, city council should recommendation the whatever came from the planning board.
Mhm.
I wish we have some more say or more power to do some stuff the city council does. Like, I understand, like even CPA, they do a lot of work, lot of thinking, talking, who should get the grant, who should not. But and then at the end, still the city council, they go over there and they sign it. The same thing with the planning board and the planning staff. They does all the hard work, and then city council like, you know what? Here you go, put you in the dumpster, and we're gonna do it.
I do think it's a good time to revisit. I mean, Mimi had made a proposal about creating a process for zone changing only for historic preservation. And I mean, Mimi, I know you don't have a lot of spare time, but it argues for working on making that into an actual proposal.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, even though in retrospect, just watching the way this process went, there was no way the city council was going to adopt it, no matter how polished it was. But maybe, with this example.
Maybe now,
in front
yeah.
of them, it's worth it, or worth trying again,
Can I say something?
please.
So why don't we start working to we have almost we have a lot of time for next year for election. Bring some new city council to running so we can change something, who can think about city, not thinking for themselves,
Yeah.
My guess is that's not a topic for our meeting, but
I know. I know. But, just get disappointed when stuff happen like that,
Yeah.
can I jump in with my Whiting Street Reservoir report?
Please do.
So you may remember this now, like 2-3 years ago. I can't remember. It's been so long. There was a charge to create a report about the Whiting Street Reservoir. Some city councilors were hoping to see if more revenue could be generated. I was the planning board's representative to that committee, which was required to have a planning board member on it. We worked hard. There were a number of unforeseen emergencies that made putting the report together take much longer than we wanted to, but it is done. Sharon forwarded the link. The report's up on the city website now. So it might be of interest to people or not. I think our general findings were that, it's incredibly important to preserve the reservoir. The waterworks, now that water is used only as a backup, but I think they foresee a time in the future when it will need to be more actively used. And there is currently a process to rebuild its waterway, its spillway and dam. So the primary concerns are preserving both the usability of the water and, of course, the natural resource of that area as a whole. But we did put in a number of other recommendations about additional protections that might be put on, and also some ways to increase the ability of the public to use it for recreation, hopefully without impacting water quality, and some proposals about a more area-wide approach, getting more work together among the various landowners, many of them public landowners, government agencies, who are protecting various parts of the side of the mountain. And we thought that there really wasn't going to be a way to reasonably increase recreational usage if it was just, if you were just thinking about the reservoir, because it's a very small part of a much larger group of natural resources. And no one landowner is going to have the ability to carry the kind of oversight of additional public use. But if there was an area-wide approach and a long-term plan for the area, that would be helpful. So those were our proposals back, which I think initially perhaps some folks were hoping that we would come back and say, oh yeah, we can make a lot of money by doing X, Y, and Z. And none of us, we did not believe that that was the case, but we think, although money could be made if a conservation restriction was put on, and we did point that out. But, preservation of the water resource and of the natural amenity are really the highest priorities. So, and there's lots of nice historical pictures in the report, thanks in large part to Harry Craven. So, read it if you want, but that's the summary.
Well, thank you for all the work. I'm going to read it.
Oh, and the report from the parking advisory, we are going to meet next week because the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is going to come and report to us on where they are in the process of getting somebody to do a new parking study to build on the work that was done by PVPC and folks like Jeff, who went out and measured all the parking spaces 10 years ago. So the process has begun about getting a new parking study, and we'll learn more about that next week. That's my reports.
Okay, anybody else? Well, then I think that is the end of the agenda. Am I wrong? And if I am not wrong, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll move that we adjourn.
I am
Second.
shocked. It's only 7:20. Do I hear a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Nathan,
yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
Fernender, and Mimi.
Yes. Is this a new record?
No.
It's a record for a while, though.
Yeah, I can't remember getting out this early.
Hey, hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. And look forward to 2 weeks. See you. Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you.
Get home safe, guys. Bye.
Okay, good night.
Good night.